beautiful new football kits for Chelsea Football Club. Decisions to be made, or a decision has been made with the striker. What they are doing next? What's going on with Moises Caicedo? Levi Colwill has made his demands. Chelsea have released a beautiful kit, like I said. Pochettino has made his demand for what he expects from Mudryk and how we can get the most out of him and what he needs him to do. Plenty to get into today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me here on Football Therapy. There's lots to dissect, lots to go through, so I thank you for joining me. If you want to support the content, I always appreciate your interactions. Feel free to like and subscribe. Hit the bell if you do want to subscribe. You probably noticed this little guy in the corner. That's because this video is brought to you by my partner, OneFootball. Beautiful. I just love that banner. I love it. Oh, look at that. Lovely and blue. OneFootball is the best application for football you could ever see and use on your phone. Don't worry, it's entirely free. That's why I'm so delighted to be partnered with them long term. Check out OneFootball by clicking the link in the top of the description to get updates on Chelsea transfer news, of course, game statistics, match results, lineups. Just be fully plugged in. When you can't watch a Football Therapy video, and shame on you if you can't, check out OneFootball, click the link, top of the description, or scan that little guy down there. Scan that little guy down there. Alright. First of all, should we have a look at the Chelsea away kit? It's been leaked. I think Feroz leaked it on the social media. We kind of looked at it before, but we looked at, I think, a concept kit. But this is the actual kit, and I must say, oh, I love it. I mean, again, this actually might look better with a sponsor. I mean, I really like, of course, the main kit launch that we've seen, the retro style. I mean, this, you could argue, is meant to be retro as well, with the collar and trim on the arms, on the sleeves. But this kind of looks like it's quite busy, and many people won't like that. But it's still got the gold badge and the gold Nike tick. But I think, if it's a kind of neat, I don't know, like kind of like intricate, neat sponsor in the middle, it might actually look quite cool. Still, this is one of those kits, right? This is one of those kits that I think, whoa, that I think would look really good on footballers. So, you know, we come out of Stamford Bridge, you got Enzo Fernandez, you know, Noni, Thiago Silva. Who else do we have that plays football for us? Nkunku, you know, Reece James, like packing that shirt ready to like eat your face and absolutely destroy that right flank. I believe that's a cool looking kit. And it's a good away kit. When we go away from Stamford Bridge, I think we'll look swish in that. Of course, you know, a bad sponsor could make all good kits look bad. But should we not get a terrible sponsor? I think this is a good kit. So anyway, I wanted to show that to you guys early doors. Feel free to let me know your thoughts, feelings, your feelings and opinions on that down in the comment section below. But I personally, so far, I'm very, very happy to see these kits. I think they're very good, and it's nice to see them without a sponsor to gauge exactly what they look like. And then seeing them with a sponsor, you know, could work as well. So we've, of course, still got a third kit to be seen, so that'd be interesting. But let's move on. All right. Then, Levi Colwill, let's have a quick update on him. Jonathan Gorey writes on the Evening Standard. Colwill says, quote, he's got to play. Next season, as the England under-21 international gears up for a return to Chelsea. Yeah, of course, he won the European Championships for the under-21s. Chelsea without, say the line, without conceding a single goal. Chelsea have offered Colwill a long-term contract, but the 20-year-old wants to clarify his role moving forwards. Pochettino is plotting talks with the centre-back who spent last season on loan at Brighton. The Seagulls have already seen a club record £40 million offer rejected by Chelsea, while both Manchester City and Liverpool are interested in signing him. Says all you need to know. If Pep Guardiola wants him, if Jurgen Klopp wants him, and if, I'll say it before, heck, I'm going to say it again, if any club is willing to break their transfer record on a centre-back, let alone a teenage centre-back, you know he's mustard, as we say over here in the British Isles. Pochettino has a number of options in central defence. Of course, you've got Badiashile, Fofana, Chalobah, and the big man himself, Thiago Silva. Colwill is expected to travel the rest of the Blues, of course, and but he wants to break into Gareth Southgate's senior squad. And there is, you know, I've spoken about it. There's sort of like a rumor that Southgate says, look, if you play every season, if you play every game next season, you'll be in my squad and you've got a good chance to start. I mean, England fans all over the gaff watching England and Harry Maguire just relentlessly start for England. Look, man, he hasn't particularly been awful for England. In fact, he's been very good for England at times. But come on, it's time you have someone who's playing. I mean, Fikayo Tomori, he's clearly just not fancied, which is mental because he's out here winning league titles and doesn't get selected. But the fact how Colwill, has just won the under-21s championship. He was like, you know, insane in those games. He was so good. He looks like prime John Terry despite being a teenager, And of course, Southgate himself was the coach of the under-21s. He has a connection to that. So it wouldn't surprise me if he says, yeah, you're my boy if you play. So Colwill said this: I'll speak to my family, speak to everyone. I need to and make a decision, he says, and he told The Times this, and he just goes on to say, I've got to play. At the end of the day, hopefully I'll go there and go to the next camp. He's got to play. He's got 2 years left on his contract, so it's not like action station, like sign this contract or we're in big trouble. It's like, no, you've got like 24 months to prove to this kid, this is the place for you, baby. And Chelsea have maintained that he is just not for sale and they see him as the future. I'm just going to sip my drink. I always feel terrible about sipping drinks when filming, but gosh darn it, I'm going to sip. And it was worth it. Alright, so let me know what you think about Levi Colwill. I'm sort of flip-flopping on the sides of, this kid can't make demands. He's a kid. Like Poch says, you've got to sign a contract to play, to train, and then you got to earn to play. But at the same time, I'm like, he's earned it. Send him in. You know, he's the truth. He's the truth. All right, I want to talk about strikers quickly, because Fabrizio Romano went on That's Football, which was Goldbridge's YouTube channel that's non-Manchester United, and he's spoken about strikers, and he says there's like Chelsea's hasn't made the decision to definitely sign a striker, and that's because they've got Jackson and Breuer. And they don't feel like a striker at the moment. They're interested in potentially buying an expensive new striker. And they may still do that. And they've got time to do that. But it won't be like, the selling clubs won't be like, oh, you're over a barrel, Chelsea. Like all the other transfers, we're going to take you for a ride and charge you loads of money. Because Chelsea are like, no, we've got, Nkunku who can play up front. But we've got two centre forwards in Armando Breuer and Nicholas Jackson. And, hopefully you'd think goals could come from other places on the pitch as well. Like, Sterling, Mudryk, Reece James, Chilwell loves a goal. Do you know what I mean? All that kind of luck. So Fabrizio Romano has reiterated that Chelsea want to look at Breuer and Jackson in pre-season for a bit. And if Pochettino goes, because he knows a good striker, Pochettino, as well. And if he goes, yeah, I can get these kids popping goals, and they're firing, and Jackson's, a demon in front of goal. Now he's been moved as a centre forward. We don't need to spend, 60 to 80 million on a centre forward. And then the owners will go, all right, thank you very much, mate. Are you sure, though? Are we going to score goals? Because we'll buy you one. And we watched last season. We scored 38 Premier League goals. And that is not okay. So there is an element of that. But yeah, at the same time, they, of course, as we always say every day, every friggin' video, constantly negotiating Moises Caicedo. And they want to get that done. They probably want to get like a Ryan Cherky type done as well. And then, say, look, right, we've got time in the window. We've got X amount of time. We've done this business. Let's really take a look at these strikers. Bring them in. Let's have a look at them. Are you going to score goals? No, listen. Are you going to score goals? Look, he doesn't seem confident, right? By so-and-so. So that's the decision on the strikers so far. Oh, hooray! Yes. So I'm going to read a little article on football.london before I talk about Misha Mudryk. This is written by Tom Curley for the US audience. So look, and there's loads of talks about Chelsea want Vlahovic as well. So of course this isn't a priority because of the aforementioned update from Fabrizio Romano. But Chelsea are continuing to speak to Juventus about Dusan Vlahovic. Of course, the Blues have already signed novice, they call him, sort of true, Nicholas Jackson, and versatile attacker Christopher Nkunku. But we are really after a surefire way to solve their goal-scoring problems. Chelsea have held discussions with the player, and the price tag of 68 million. So this is coming from Rudy Galletti. It's all, which is an Italian reporter. Also Alfredo Padula, remember him? Hashtag Hot Days. Another Italian reporter suggesting that the price tag £68 million. He writes this, and this is Galletti writing this. Vlahovic talks between Chelsea and Juventus is about to begin. So again, it's probably Chelsea keeping the door open. The Italian club without Champions League football, they need to generate revenue because they had their big points deduction, didn't they, Juventus? They want to let him go for around 80 million, which is about £68 million. To let him go. Pochettino wants the Serbian striker, apparently. Evolving situation. But Pochettino wants to, again, I don't know who this geezer is, but Romano would be correct in talking, in his reports, and suggesting that Pochettino would want to analyse the young strikers first. So Chelsea are interested in Dusan Vlahovic, but, in the same way Chelsea are probably interested in Lautaro Martinez. We obviously want to try, and ideally, I'd like to put Lukaku in. Apparently Lukaku plus £20 million, which means he'd be worth 49 million in part exchange, which is a lot. Or 48, which is a lot for Lukaku. It's not a lot considering how much we spunked on him, but it's a lot cut in this current market because Saudi Arabia, they're only willing to pay £40 million. So, and that's the biggest offer we have on the table, Before we talk about Mudryk, Moises Caicedo, we want to bring him on pre-season. Of course, we fly out in a matter of days. They are locked in negotiations. Caicedo is desperate for the move. Chelsea is desperate for the move. But Brighton are holding firm, and they are demanding £100 million, $128 million. This is for American readers, for the player. And they talk about how Declan Rice inflated this, but Declan Rice is a captain who's been performing in the Premier League for years, and has gone far with his country in competitions. So, and he's got, I know it shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing. He's got English tax. So, Brighton are dreaming a little bit here. You bid £40 million for Colwill, and you try and sell us Caicedo for £100 million. You crazy sons of guns. I do think it would have been 80 million, 70 plus 10, should Chelsea have just coughed up more money up front. But the 100 million reports are suggesting is because of Chelsea's, to them, favourable payment structure. Like, look, we'll pay you over the next 30 years. Well, in that case, it's going to cost 100 million then. At least that's what I understand from reading different reports. So feel free to leave your thoughts on that. Let's jump over to the Chelsea Chronicle website, who's speaking about Mykhailo Mudryk and what Pochettino wants from him. So Pochettino wants Chelsea attacker Mudryk to become a louder presence at Stamford Bridge. And this is according to CBS journalist Ben Jacobs, who was well informed. Mudryk, by the way, he's in a new country. His country is literally at war. I don't think he's going to arrive in the Premier League, the bright shining lights of West London and the Premier League, really like gregarious and performative, emotion, whatever. So there is that, but I understand why Pochettino would require a little bit more out of him. Pochettino, who is now in his second week as Chelsea coach, has already mapped out a plan for Mudryk during pre-season. Mudryk had a busy summer after playing for Ukraine's under-21s European Championship, which is a decision that impressed Pochettino. Of course, the Telegraph and Matt Law reported on that. Now, the 22-year-old is getting to work with the Chelsea squad for pre-season, which really kicks into gear when they travel to the United States for our friendly match. Reporting on Cy Phillips' Substack, Jacobs claims Pochettino is keen to work one-on-one with Mudryk to help motivate him. It is understood that part of the focus will be helping the left winger to be more vocal and culture-orientated. Just getting amongst it, being one of the boys, shouting, commanding, asking more from your teammates, getting them to ask, feeling comfortable to ask more of you, communicative, join the hive mind of Chelsea Football Club on the pitch. Don't be this like isolated, figure that is granted he's haunted by what's going on in his homeland, but he feels like this like foreign dude, be part of it, get amongst it. Do you know what I mean? We feel like a youngster is already a really big presence in the Ukraine national fold, but he's very much a small fish in a big pond when it comes to Stamford Bridge. Yeah, channel that Ukraine international team energy and just do that in Chelsea. Maybe he feels like, he needs to score goals for it first, and he hasn't, proved himself. But one nurtures the other. They like perpetuate each other, It's been a difficult first 6 months for Mudryk in England with 0 goals in his opening 17 appearances. Okay, so his opening 17 appearances, I'll be very interested to see how many starts he got. They were all off the bench at the end, and he was just sort of high octane, running towards goal direct, thing. But he also got a couple of assists. He was good at times. Granted, it was underwhelming, but it wasn't like this, like, oh my god, it wasn't like Fernando Torres, striker, starting all these games and not scoring. He's a winger that came off the bench most of the time and still, got himself a couple of assists, etc. It would be great for more leaders and louder presences on the pitch. I mean, personally, I don't see Mudryk as a leader, but he absolutely can be a vocal part of the team that gets amongst it. Let's remember, Mudryk is only 82? No, he's not. He's 22. And if he lives up to his potential, he could cost Chelsea £88 million. But at the moment, he's only 60. Chelsea would have to do very well. It's one of those things. If we pay 88 for Mudryk, it's a great thing, because it means he's won the Premier League, Champions League. Once he's fully sailed on the pitch, we'll see the best version of him. So Pochettino wants this. He's arrived. He's a great man manager. So someone like Mudryk, an individual who could come on leaps and bounds onto him one-on-one. And it's worth mentioning Heung-min Son. He was a quiet sort of character, and it wasn't very assertive, and Poch turned him into an absolute demon. And I think I'm right in saying, of course, Son was very fast, but I think I'm right in saying Mudryk's the fastest player in the Premier League. Like, he's hella fast, bro. So he could be so useful, and Pochettino needs to bring that out of him. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'm very keen to learn your thoughts in the comment section. I always read them, so thank you for leaving those. Thank you for dropping a like on the video and subscribing to this channel. Remember, hit the bell if you choose to subscribe. And check out OneFootball because it's free, and it's great. I use it, so why don't you do it too? Just click the link in the top of the description. Ciao.